Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to another episode of Mentoring Young Leaders. I am your host, 𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗃𝗃 Naqvi, and today our guest is quite legendary. He is the first Pakistani to co-author the official mathematics course book by Cambridge. He represented Pakistan on a global level, which is indeed a very proud moment for the nation. To say he's a teacher is an understatement. He is an educationist and a motivational speaker, a highly reputable one indeed. He is currently pursuing his PhD in education, and while doing so, he is also the mathematics and accounting instructor on many different platforms. He also has a road named over him in Karachi, which is the only road to be named after a teacher and someone who's living in fresh. Apart from that, he has also been awarded by Cambridge as world's most dedicated teacher in 2019. Let's get to know him and his journey, everything that led him to be who he is today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Ahmed Saya.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Eliza?
I'm good, thank you. Let's go straight into it.
Sure.
Okay, if I was to ask you about a word that describes you up till this point in your life, it could be anything. It could be something you practice or something that you value in your life or something that you focused throughout your journey, something that describes you in whole. What would that be?
Hardworking. I always believe the harder you work, the luckier you become. And that's the motto of my life, to keep working hard and be ambitious. So I'm very ambitious and I'm very hardworking.
Okay, wonderful. If I ask you to go back to your early life and go a little bit into the flashback, is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you are an 𝗃𝗂𝗃𝗃 qualified as well.
Yes.
And prior to that, let's dig into your early life and which career options you looked into and what career counseling you went through and who was Mr. Ahmed Saya as a student?
All right. Alhamdulillah, I have been a good student always. While I was studying, initially I used to help my classmates. Then I started teaching my juniors and people from my locality who needed help with certain subjects. And I did all that just to ensure that I finance my own studies and I become a self-made person. At that point in time, it was not that I had already made up my mind that I'll become a teacher or an educationist. I wanted to pursue chartered accountancy. Okay. That was for sure. I wanted to be a cricketer. But as I always say, your success comes when your willingness and abilities coincide. I was willing to become a cricketer, but I did not have the right abilities to do so. I had the ability to become a chartered accountant. I eventually, alhamdulillah, completed my ACCA. And I did not pursue that as a career because although I was able as a chartered accountant, I was not willing to pursue my degree as a chartered accountant. I was not willing to pursue my career as a chartered accountant, in fact. But as I said, I was teaching since very early. I realized that teaching is a very noble profession. I enjoy doing it. I had the willingness for it. I also had the ability for it. So the willingness and ability coincided on me being a teacher. So and that was the motivational factor behind it because I was enjoying it. I was getting appreciation firsthand from the students. I was alhamdulillah being financially rewarded for it also, and I realized that this is something I can do. But as I started teaching, I realized that it's not a job, it's a responsibility. Teaching is not a profession, it's always a passion. And it can be best when it comes from within. So when your profession and passion meets up, once again, it's another milestone towards your success. So alhamdulillah, things started coming into places, the bits and pieces started rolling in a position in such a manner that I realized my true potential, that I want to be a change agent for the country. I want to be someone who is there to give directions to the youth of the country. I wanted to be a role model for those who are going astray. I wanted to be a light for those who are still undecided about what to do in life. And with such a severe brain drain in the country, I wanted to be someone who people can stop, look and say, if he's part of the country, let's be part of the country. Wow. And that's it. That's what my journey from being a student to being a teacher was.
Wonderful. Everything that you've mentioned right now has been very inspiring. And I just quickly wanted to ask that you seem like a person who's very self-aware. So, how do you think that came into being? How did you realize your true potential? How did you realize that you're able and willing for certain things? How did you evaluate yourself on that scale, being very young in life and having to make these decisions?
To be very honest, I think I was lucky that I got self-aware earlier in life, and I realized that I need to be self-aware. But that is something that every student at this point in time needs to do. They need to go on to a journey of self-discovery. They need to understand their true potential, their true self, because every child is different. Like I always say, there is no one size that fits all.
Yes.
And since everyone is different, everyone needs to identify, search that what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are their abilities, what are their inclinations, because all these will add up to your personality, and then it will help you decide a career direction for you. So if someone who's not self-aware, he thinks he can or she thinks she can do anything. But if someone has a vision, if someone knows what he or she wants to achieve in life and what their true potential is, then the journey becomes easier. In studies, we always say where you are, where you want to be, but the most important question is how to get there.
Yes.
And having the vision and then setting up the path of going there is very important. So everyone needs to be self-aware, and self-aware will come when you will give time to yourself that here I am, this is what I want to do, and what is the reason behind doing those things. Is it because I want to give back to the society? Is it because I want to achieve a certain name for myself? Is it because I see that there is lots of potential in doing this thing? Or is it because everyone else is doing it, so I'm doing it? So until and unless we are very clear about our objectives, why we are doing a certain thing, what is the intention behind doing those things, is very important. And then we are all aware of the fact that intentions matter a lot.
Yes.
So if you do something with this intention that I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to do a business, but I just don't want to do a business to become a successful businessman, but I want to do a business because I want to give back to the society, I want to create jobs, I want to improve the GDP of the country, I want to be a resource where I can give employment to others, then automatically with this pure intention, God works in miraculous ways. He intervenes in a way that you are not even aware of. But that comes from within once again. If your intentions are pure, your intentions are there not because of your own self, but because of people around you. If you are a ray of light in the bleak world of people, automatically things will start becoming better for not only people around you, but for your own self also. Because karma plays its role. What goes around comes around. I'm a staunch believer of that. So if you do something nice to someone and you do it nicely because you are expecting that he will do something nice for you in future, you are not doing something nice. You are just doing a barter for a future benefit. But if you do something nice for someone, irrespective of how he acts, behaves, reacts, and irrespective of the fact whether he is in a position to help you someday or not, whether he is or she is in a position to return favors on you, irrespective of all this, you still do a good deed for someone. If you do a certain thing thinking that I'm doing it for the sake of spreading goodness, there is no chance something bad can happen to you, because God can't leave you alone when you are in need. So remember Allah in your prosperity, and He will never forget you in your adversity. So these are a few things that makes a person realize what his true potential is and what he can do for so many people around them.
You are definitely a remarkable motivational speaker. All right, moving forward, I wanted to ask you why you thought that maybe accountancy, professional qualification, is not a career that you want to pursue. Yes, you were passionate for teaching and you have started it from very early on in your life, but did you evaluate the pros and cons? And did you evaluate the situation and your future aspects of where, this qualification could take you? Or were you just passionate enough to choose a route that you felt very inclined towards?
I personally think that if at that point in time I would have weighed my options, a career in a chartered accountancy would have been much better than career in a teaching field, because at that point in time when I chose teaching as something that I will do, teaching was not something that was looked as the teacher. It was something that people used to do when they did not have other options. I still remember lots of people telling me what you do, and when I used to tell them that I'm a teacher, they used to do, नहीं इसके अलावा और क्या करते हो, नहीं मैं पढ़ाता हूँ, नहीं पढ़ाने के अलावा और क्या करते हो. So it was not acceptable कि कोई चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जो है वो टीचर होगा, फुल टाइम टीचर होगा. पार्ट टाइम टीचर तो समझ में आता है कि आप मॉर्निंग में यू आर वर्किंग इन अ फर्म एंड इन आफ्टरनून यू आर ट्राइंग टू गिव बैक टू द किड्स, और यू आर ट्राइंग टू बी अ teacher or a source of inspiration for others. But being a teacher was not something that was very appreciated at that point in time. But I think I was very clear on that I wanted to become a teacher eventually. As I said, it was all an eventual phases that came into being. It was not that from day one I wanted to be a teacher. I started teaching to finance my own self. Eventually I realized that it's a noble cause. And eventually I realized that yes, I can make a difference in this field. And I realized that it is something that satisfies me and grooms me, grows me every day, and I feel nice about it. And hence I decided that yes, this is something I want to do. At that point in time, yes, I did have and I could have much better opportunities on face. But I think Alhamdulillah, I'm much better off now, because I am satisfied. I am I was inclined to what I'm doing, and I am content with what I have. So Alhamdulillah, I think I took a right decision, and Allah Ta'ala has always been exceptionally kind to me, that things were laid down for me in such a manner that they all became a road to what I am today, Alhamdulillah.
And I think because you yourself made this decision, and because you were so invested into this decision, things just kept going on for you. And now, like everything that you have done, you have excelled at it because it was your decision purely.
Yeah, but Allah Ta'ala is exceptionally kind. There are lots of people who are much better than me in lots of ways and in many things. But I am truly blessed, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. All right, what were some of your key interests growing up, apart from studies and apart from you teaching in your free time to juniors or whatever? What were some of your interests that you still make time for in your life right now?
To be honest, I don't get much time apart from that. Never did since
Really?
I got into it.
Okay.
Because everything has its own shortcomings.
Yeah.
So with the work routine that I have, the biggest shortcoming is I do have a very bad work-life balance.
Okay.
Not something that we should appreciate, not something that we should gaga about.
Yes.
But yes, it is something that is there, and I can't help it. I can't deny it. I can't say नहीं मेरा work-life balance तो बहुत अच्छा है, नहीं work-life balance बहुत खराब है. ठीक है? So I think a person should be conscious about the shortcomings also. I mean, then only you can try and improve things.
Yeah.
If I don't accept the shortcomings, I will never be able to improve it. So yes, this is one shortcoming. I'm trying to work on it. I don't know how long it takes, but currently, yes, there is a very bad work-life balance, because for me, work is not work.
Yeah, you enjoy it so much.
So that is the problem. So for me, it's not actually a bad work-life balance, but since I'm so engrossed into it and it's not work, it's something I like doing, it's passion, it's giving back to people, giving back to society, it's because I feel I can make a difference in people's life. If you tell me अच्छा ये ना करो तो मैं बोलूँगा फिर मैं क्या करूँ.
Really?
तो ये प्रॉब्लम है.
नहीं ये तो अच्छी, it's a healthy problem.
Healthy problem, ठीक है.
Okay, so I was going to ask you if it ever gets boring for you, but I don't think that's necessary now.
No, I think when you enjoy your work, it never gets boring. So मज़ा आ रहा होता है, आप अपने पैशन को फुलफिल कर रहे हैं, आपकी हॉबीज़ फुलफिल हो रही हैं, आपको उसमें अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह सक्सेस भी मिल रहा हो, तो it all comes to a point where सब चीज़ें अच्छी चल रही होती हैं.
All right. What was that one point in your journey I mean, there are a lot of points, alhamdulillah. But what was that one point where you felt like you've made it? You know, you that 17, 18-year-old boy that had dreams in his eyes has now fulfilled at least one of those dreams.
Alhamdulillah, there have been many points in life where I feel, Alhamdulillah, ये भी achieve हो गया, ये भी achieve हो गया. But to be very honest, as I said, most of the things that Allah Ta'ala helped me achieve were never part of my, मतलब सोचा भी नहीं था ना ऐसा होगा. मतलब I always prayed कि मुझे कोई मौका मिले to represent my country. But I always thought representation of country means आप जो है वो किसी तरह पाकिस्तान को जो है वो दुश्मनों से बचा रहे होंगे, तो आप जो है वो पाकिस्तान के लिए कुछ कर सकते हैं, या आप जो है वो आर्मी, नेवी या एयरफोर्स का हिस्सा होंगे तो आप पाकिस्तान को रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं. बट अल्लाह ताला हैड डिफरेंट प्लान्स. अल्लाह ताला मेड मी रिप्रेजेंट पाकिस्तान एज अ टीचर. सो व्हेन आई गॉट दैट वर्ल्ड्स मोस्ट डेडिकेटेड टीचर अवार्ड, मेरे ख्याल में वो एक पॉइंट था जब मुझे लगा कि मतलब ये तो कमाल हो गया. मतलब समथिंग दैट आई डिड नॉट इवन ड्रीम्ड ऑफ. मतलब देखिए, एज टीचर्स, जितने भी टीचर्स हैं, ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ सारे टीचर्स मैं ये बात बोल रहा हूँ, जब हम लोग काम करते हैं ना, तो हम लोग ये सोच के काम नहीं करते इसके अगेंस्ट हमें कोई रिवॉर्ड मिलेगा, कोई अवार्ड मिलेगा. हमारा एक ही मोटिवेशन होता है कि जो बच्चा क्लास में बैठा है ना, दैट बच्चा बिकम्स अ बेटर इंडिविजुअल, अ बेटर ह्यूमन बीइंग, अ मोर पेट्रियाटिक सिटीजन, एंड हम उसको बेहतर ग्रेड भी दिलवाएं, उसकी बेहतर तरबियत भी कर दें. तो ये छोटी छोटी चीज़ें होती हैं. जब वो बच्चा कुछ बन जाता है तो वो हमारा सबसे बड़ा अवार्ड होता है कि ये बच्चा जिसको लोगों ने बोला था तुम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, कुछ कर गया. या वो बच्चा जिसको देख के लगता था कि यस इसके अंदर पोटेंशियल है, इसको थोड़ी ग्रूमिंग की ज़रूरत है, और वो ग्रूम हो गया. तो यू फील कि आपने वो अवार्ड अचीव कर लिया बिकॉज यू मेड अ डिफरेंस इन समवंस लाइफ. एंड दैट्स व्हाट टीचिंग इज ऑल अबाउट. यू ट्राई एंड बी देयर एंड मेक अ डिफरेंस इन पीपल्स लाइफ. एंड व्हेन यू डू दैट, दैट इज मोस्ट रिवॉर्डिंग. तो अगर जो सबसे पहला पॉइंट देखूं तो सबसे पहला पॉइंट, वो सबसे पहला बच्चा जो सक्सेसफुल हो गया, वो सबसे पहला बच्चा जिसका अच्छा ग्रेड आ गया, वो सबसे पहला बच्चा जिसने बोला कि आप बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं, या आप बहुत अच्छे टीचर हैं, या आपकी वजह से मैं कुछ बन गया, या अब पढ़ाते पढ़ाते इतना अरसा हो गया, कोई बच्चा जिसको आपने 10, 12, 15 साल पहले पढ़ाया, वो रास्ते में रुक के आपको बोले सर आपने पहचाना मैं वो हूँ, आपने मुझे पढ़ाया था, आज मैं ये हूँ. तो ये रिवॉर्ड होता है. तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, सिंस आई हैव बीन टीचिंग सिंस सो लॉन्ग नाउ, द स्टूडेंट्स आई टीच आर डॉक्टर्स, इंजीनियर्स, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स, लॉयर्स, आलिम दीन्स. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स एड टू द थिंग के कुछ तो किया होगा, कोई छोटा सा रोल होगा कि वो अब भी याद रखते हैं, वो अब भी बात करते हैं, वो अभी अपने सक्सेस स्टोरीज मुझसे शेयर करते हैं, वो अभी भी मुझसे मशवरे के लिए मैसेज कॉल मिलने आ जाते हैं. तो वो छोटी सी चीज़ें होती है ना, वो आपको लगता है कि आप कुछ अच्छा कर रहे हैं. सो ये सारी चीज़ें होती है ना, तो लगता है कि आपने कुछ ऐसा किया कि आप सक्सेसफुल हैं. अब ये टीचर, मैं बता रहा हूँ, हर टीचर की ज़िंदगी का ये. तो हमारा सक्सेस हमारा बच्चा है. हमारा सक्सेस वो बच्चा है जिसने कुछ कर लिया और कुछ बन गया, और वही हमारा अवार्ड रिवॉर्ड है. अब इन सब के साथ ये तो कभी सोचा नहीं था ना कि एक ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म पे एक्नॉलेज कर दिया जाएगा कि यू आर द वर्ल्ड्स मोस्ट डेडिकेटेड टीचर, ग्लोबल अवार्ड. तो वो ग्लोबल अवार्ड वॉज डेफिनेटली समथिंग आई हैड नेवर ड्रीम्ड ऑफ और इवन विश्ड फॉर. मतलब ये तो
पता ही नहीं था
ये भी होता है या ये भी हो सकता है. एंड व्हेन out of so many countries you go to Cambridge, you represent Pakistan there, you raise the flag high there, and people all over the world stand up to give you a standing ovation because you have made a difference. Felt so good because I was representing my country there, because I was being labeled as a Pakistani who did it. And that was something that I felt very good about. Then alhamdulillah, getting the opportunity to co-author the book and becoming the first Pakistani to co-author the book for Cambridge was once again representation of Pakistan. कि मैंने पाकिस्तान को ग्लोबल लेवल पे कुछ रिप्रेजेंट कर दिया. अब देखिए ना, हम बचपन से जब भी मैथ की किताब पढ़ते थे तो हम हमारे पास ऐसे नाम होते थे जो अनफेमिलियर नेम्स होते थे. अब कभी कोई बच्चा मैथ की किताब पढ़ेगा तो उसमें एक ऑफिशियल किताब ग्लोबली पढ़ रहा है और उसको पता है कि अहमद साया, सर्च करेगा तो उसको पता होगा अहमद साया बिलोंग्स फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान.
Wow. Remarkable. Okay, so as you mentioned, you have worked and represented Pakistan on a global level as well. I wanted to ask of your experience of working with Mr. Dean Karmer, who is one of the leading authors in Cambridge. How was that experience like? Did you witness a little blend in, different mix of cultures and their work ethic? What was that like?
It was a remarkable experience because it was a very good learning experience for me. I got to know so many things which I was not aware of. I was working as a teacher and working as an author are two different things. So I got to know the insights of how things work in that direction. He was a constant help. He was a constant support. He was guiding me. He was telling me what to do, what not to do, how to go about things. And it helped me grow as an individual. It helped me grow as a professional. So a big hats off to him for tolerating all the things I was doing and the things he told me to rework on, to look on, to change things. So all those were learning experiences which I will always be indebted to.
Wow. Okay, so a little about you currently, like in present time. You are pursuing your PhD in education.
Yes.
And do you think that that is something that your role now requires? Or is it something that is very personal for you, that you did out of your own interest?
To be very honest, doing PhD will not give me any career, will not put my career to another stage or a step forward. It is something that I always wanted to do. It is something that I thought कि मैं डॉक्टर साया बन जाऊंगा तो मेरी बात में और वजन आ जाएगा. सो अहमद साया ने ये बात बोली है और डॉक्टर साया ने ये बात बोली, दोनों में बोलने में फ़र्क लग रहा है. तो ये एक तो ये वजह है, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, कि आई वॉन्ट टू हैव दैट डॉक्टर टू माई नेम, कि मैंने अब जो बोलूँगा वो थोड़ी सी ऑथेंटिक चीज़ हो जाएगी. सेकेंडली, इट्स वंस अगेन अ लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस फॉर मी. सो व्हेन यू आर इन अ कॉन्स्टेंट लर्निंग फेज, जापानीज एक टर्म यूज़ करते हैं काइजन, कंटिन्यूस इम्प्रूवमेंट. तो अगर तो मैं बोलूँ कि मुझे आ गया सब और मैं हो गया हूँ कुल, वहीं से शुरू हो जाएगा मेरा डाउनफॉल.
एब्सोल्युटली.
जहाँ पे मुझे लगता रहेगा ना कि मुझे सीखना है, मुझे और सीखना है, मुझे और सीखना है, तो मैं ग्रो करता रहूँगा. एंड टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, व्हेन यू आर इन अ रोल ऑफ अ स्टूडेंट, वॉट एवर योर एज इज, यू रियलाइज कि आपको बहुत कुछ सीखना है, आपको तो आता ही नहीं है. एंड आई फील दैट एवरी डे. सो वाइल डूइंग माई PhD, आई रियलाइज दिस एवरी डे, that there are lots of things that I don't know and I need to learn. So when you are in class, taking a class, you start having this feeling कि मुझे तो आता है, मुझे तो आता है, मुझे तो आता है. But when you turn the table and you go onto the other side of the table and you become a student, whatever level, you realize मुझे तो सीखना है, मुझे तो सीखना है, मुझे तो नहीं आता. And there are lots of things that I don't know. जब तक आई डोंट नो रहता है ना जिंदगी में, यू ट्राई टू लर्न. और जहाँ पे आपको लगना शुरू हो जाए आप क्लासरूम में टेबल के उस तरफ होंगे जहाँ पे यू आर ऑन द डिलीवरिंग एंड, तो आपको यही लगता रहेगा कि मुझे तो आता है. तो सीखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. सो इट कीप्स मी गोइंग. ठीक है. और फिर मुझे ये एहसास भी होता रहता है कि वो जो जेनरेशन गैप आहिस्ता आहिस्ता आता जा रहा है ना. अब मैंने अगर ईयर 2000, आई स्टार्टेड टीचिंग इन ईयर 2000. सो ईयर 2000 से लेकर ईयर 2010 तक मैंने जितने बच्चों को पढ़ाया उनमें और मुझ में एज डिफरेंस ना होने के बराबर होता था. थोड़ा थोड़ा, कभी बिल्कुल भी नहीं होता था, कभी थोड़ा सा होता था. तो वो कनेक्ट बहुत ज़्यादा था. फ्रॉम 2010 ऑनवर्ड्स वो आहिस्ते आहिस्ते गैप आना शुरू हो जाता है बिकॉज एज डिफरेंस आता है. अब मैं क्लास में बच्चों से पूछता हूँ, मैंने ओ लेवल्स किया था ईयर 2003 में, तो बहुत सारे बोलते हैं हम तो पैदा भी नहीं हुए थे. मैं बोलता हूँ ए लेवल्स 2005 में, तो बहुत सारे पैदा ही नहीं हुए थे. तो मैं बोलता हूँ ACC मैंने 2007 में किया था, तो कुछ कुछ पैदा होने शुरू हो गए होते हैं. तो इट्स अ बिग गैप. सो अगर मैं वो स्टूडेंट्स एंड पे होता रहूँगा ना, तो मैं उस जेनरेशन गैप को अनइंटेंशनली फुलफिल करता रहूँगा बिकॉज मैं वो स्टूडेंट्स एंड पे हूँ. तो वो जो चीज़ स्टूडेंट अब फील करता है, मैं एज अ स्टूडेंट भी तो वो फील करता हूँ ना. तो इट कीप्स मी more attached to the students because I can feel their pain कि वो एज अ स्टूडेंट क्या फील करते हैं एंड वो अपने टीचर में क्या देखना चाहते हैं. क्योंकि मैं अपने टीचर में कुछ देखना चाहता हूँ. तो दिस इज समथिंग दैट हेल्प्स मी ग्रूम, ग्रो एंड अचीव माई पोटेंशियल्स दैट आर येट अनहार्नेस्ड.
Okay, a little more about you as a teacher. If anybody comes up to you, any student, and says that I have literally no direction of where I want to be, and it could be failure, it could be anything, but that student particularly feels like he has no future or no skill set or nothing that can change in the situation that he currently is in. So what would you counsel him like? What would you guide him to?
I think the first thing I would tell him would be to trust himself and come out of self-pity zone. ये जो self-pity zone है ना, वो बहुत ख़राब होती है. Because a student starts feeling कि मुझसे नहीं होगा, मैं तो कुछ कर नहीं सकता, मुझे तो सब यही कहते हैं. तो पहले तो self-pity zone से बाहर आएं. Be confident, be hardworking, and everyone who thinks or doubts him, prove everyone wrong. And for that वो intent चाहिए. अगर वो इंटेंट आ जाएगी तो फिर अपनी स्ट्रेंथ्स एंड वीकनेसेस पे काम करना शुरू करे कि वो क्या उसकी स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं उसको हाईलाइट करे और बेहतर बनाने की कोशिश करे, जो उसकी वीकनेसेस हैं उसको ओवरकम करने की कोशिश करे. एंड इवेंचुअली वो बैलेंस डेवलप हो जाएगा और डायरेक्शन उसको मिलना शुरू हो जाएगा. प्लस विजन होना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि उसको क्या करना है ज़िंदगी में. अब वो उसको मैं नहीं बताऊंगा उसने ज़िंदगी में क्या करना है. He needs to go on to a journey of self-exploration, self-discovery. He needs to identify, or she needs to identify, what he or she needs to do in life, where they want to be, where they see themselves after a few years, and what is that which ignites fire in them. उनको क्या करने में मज़ा आ रहा है वो तो उनको आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा ना. मुझे सोने में मज़ा आ रहा है, पूरा दिन सोता रहूँगा, तो वाकई मुझे मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगा. या मुझे वीडियो गेम्स खेलने में बहुत मज़ा आ रहा है तो मैं सारा वक्त वीडियो गेम्स खेलता रहूँगा तो मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगा. हाँ, लेकिन अगर मैं डायरेक्शन ढूंढना शुरू करूँ कि अगर मुझे सिर्फ वीडियो गेम्स खेलने में मज़ा आ रहा है तो क्या मैं वीडियो गेम बना सकता हूँ? और फिर मैं अपना कोई नया करियर पाथवे डिज़ाइन करना शुरू करूँ. ठीक है. या मुझे सिर्फ कोई स्पोर्ट्स खेलने में मज़ा आ रहा है तो एम आई गुड इनफ टू रिप्रेजेंट माई कंट्री ऑन इंटरनेशनल लेवल इन दिस स्पोर्ट? इफ़ येस तो मैं उसको करियर डायरेक्शन बना सकता हूँ. इफ़ नो, देन कीप इट एज अ हॉबी, प्ले स्पोर्ट, but then start investing time in a career opportunity that might grow him or her. तो ये सारी चीजें जो बच्चे को देखनी पड़ेंगी. जब तक वो सेल्फ एक्सप्लोरेशन नहीं करेगा वो नहीं कर सकता. सेल्फ एक्सप्लोरेशन बहुत जरूरी है. तो he needs to identify what he wants to do in life or she wants to do in life.
Okay. Ahmed Road.
जी.
Do you cross that road often?
Oh, I make it a point that I cross that every day. It gives me another level of motivation.
A little bit about that. How do you feel about it, and when did it happen?
It happened last year. Alhamdulillah, it was conferred to me, bestowed on me by the government of Pakistan, and against the services that I have done for the education industry and for representing Pakistan internationally and globally. So alhamdulillah, it's a great moment of pride that you see your name on the road every day in a good demeanor.
Yes, of course.
That and it gives immense pride, and I hope it gives direction not only to the people traveling on the road but to the people overall, that if a teacher can do something which can make him available for others, have a name on a road, then it should be a motivating factor for all the aspiring individuals.
Definitely.
That there are lots of things that can be done. Once again, something that I never dreamt of.
Exactly.
मुझे क्या पता था कि मेरे नाम पे कभी रोड होगा, ना मैंने ऐसा कभी सोचा था. Lots of events happened and this was part of that. But Allah Ta'ala has been exceptionally kind. I mean, once again, I don't know what I did to deserve that, but Allah Ta'ala has been exceptionally kind to me. As I said, I'm blessed. And Alhamdulillah, it is something that I am very proud of, that Allah Ta'ala gave me the opportunity once again to represent my country internationally, and I can make people of my country proud by the fact that I'm a Pakistani.
Yes, definitely. And so many people can, like, वही बात है, even if they're crossing the road or whatever, like if they see you somewhere, and it's just that you were just a dreamer. at the start of your journey. You just had all of these dreams in your head and you didn't even know what beyond that could exist. So I think a lot of people who have no direction right now, but they are adamant on their dreams and on their potential, on their vision, you are surely a ray of inspiration to them.
Thank you. I hope I am definitely a ray of inspiration for people, because I want people to realize that there is, until you dream big, you can't achieve big.
Yes.
Secondly, there are lots of things that you don't even know can happen, but are there that can happen.
They're there in the universe.
We can't just stop trying. And then sky's the limit. We can reach the utmost exalted pinnacles if we want.
Definitely, without a doubt, definitely. All right, before we move towards the end of this session, I want you to highlight a few of the differences that we have, because you are an O-levels teacher. So a few of the differences and the gap that there is between an A-level student or an inter student. And what can we do to fill that gap? Do you think that gap is quite huge to be filled? Or do you think some small steps can lead to a better path of opportunities, a better layout for the inter students as well?
I think that the major difference between O and A level students and metric inter students is the curriculum. The curriculum of O and A level students is more holistic compared to the curriculum of metric and intermediate students, which is more redundant. Secondly, the examination culture of O and A level students is much better than the metric and intermediate students. Every year we hear that malpractice was conducted in metric inter examination. The students were given the opportunity to cheat and all that stuff, which they start thinking is their due right.
Yes.
And unfortunately fight for the right to cheat, which is not on. We are spreading the wrong message altogether. So that needs to be stopped. So if curriculum is improved and the examination board is improved, if these two things can be done, I think the gap will be minimized to a great extent. Secondly, because the curriculum is not very strong and because the students do not study because they have the privilege to cheat, they start taking things in a very different manner and they do not study. So their intent of studying is not there. Their learning curve automatically goes very down, and that is something that we need to improve, and it is something that we need to talk about and voice out and tell students that beta, cheating is not a privilege ever. You are not allowed to cheat whatsoever. Okay? And you need to realize that if you cheat, you are not doing things the manner they should have been done. So even if you get the opportunity to cheat, say no to cheating. Because you need to pass the exams with your own efforts, by putting in your hard work and by trying to succeed, not by any malpractice. So I think that can make a huge difference.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. This has been an enlightening conversation. And at the start of the podcast, you mentioned that you are a hard worker. But it is highly safe to say that you're a very humble person as well. No matter what you have achieved and to what extent you have achieved, you have remained humble and you have remained grateful to your Lord. And we hope that Allah is even more kind to you in the future. Inshallah. All the very best for all your future endeavors, and may all the other dreams that you have become a reality as well.
Inshallah. Thank you, Eliza. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. All right, everyone, that is all for today. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Till then, stay tuned.